And we are live. Welcome to your LSU Football Fix. I'm Preston Guy, staff writer at TigerBait.com. Tonight's show is presented to you by Tramonte's Meat and Seafood, located at the corner of Airline and Jefferson. Y'all make sure to go check them out. They are your 2022 homegating and tailgating headquarters. Remember, y'all, if you go get a homegating, tailgating, catering order of any sort, 200 or more, which most groups, 8 or more, are going to do that nowadays anywhere you go. You get a free $25 gift card if you mention TigerBait. So go do that. You'll be supporting the show and supporting all the good stuff. If you go in for just, whatever regular stuff, tell them TigerBait sent you anyway, so our sponsors know what is up. What's up, Hal Jubin? I'm great, and you? Thanks. I'm doing good, man. I'm excited. Got Jimmy Burrow coming on tonight. It's always great to talk to Jimmy. Great guy. Both of Joe's parents are great. I love Jimmy and Robin. Of course, Joe Burrow's coming back to the Superdome. I was unapologetic on Twitter this week as I told everybody, "Who dey, baby?" Look, I got my whole life to root for the Saints, okay? When you're in the media, you don't really get to root for LSU. Yes, it's my alma mater. Yes, I loved the Tigers growing up. In the media, you got to kind of be more professional with it. You don't really get to root. So I had to watch that Joe Burrow season, not really getting to cheer or do much of that. I'm not doing that in the NFL. Screw that. I'm rooting for Joe Burrow all the way. I'll take Joe Burrow and the Bengals this weekend, but I'll be rooting for the Who-Dats all my life. Once Joe Burrow and Jamar are gone, I don't care about the Bengals anymore. But this weekend, give me a Who Day. And he says that'll be a great interview. I hope so. I hope I don't get ridden out of town. Look, Stephen Miller's with me. Who Day rule the jungle. A lot of people are getting after me for hopping on the bandwagon for the Bengals. I don't know, man. It's just a little different for me. But LSU plays a very good game against Florida this week. I'm also excited to talk about that because I think LSU gets a good bounce back win. Breck, you're fired again. God, I have to keep on firing these people every week. Let's see. Oh, look, Ryan, you're fired. All right, let's see here. I hope Joe Burrow has a great game, but I want the Saints to win. Yeah, no. I think a lot of people there. I saw some people tweet now. Both the Barstool accounts tweeted at me for it too. By the way, they were like, "Yeah, I hope he hangs 500, but take that L, Joe." Interestingly, Joe Burrow grew up a Saints fan. Like when he was young, like neither of the Ohio teams gave him much to root for. But Drew Brees, Sean Payton, and them were rocking and rolling, winning Super Bowls and doing all that. So he grew up a Saints fan. So I'm interested to talk to Jimmy. I kind of want to drill him there. How hardcore? He said he's a Saints. He told Drew Brees he's a Saints fan. How solid was that? So we'll be talking to him. He'll be in here in about 9 minutes. Yes, I'm from Louisiana, born and raised in Baton Rouge. Went to Christian Life Academy before it went the way of the dodo. I've never lived anywhere else. So look, it's who dat till I die, but this weekend only. Who dey, baby. I don't really care, Bragg. I'm just messing with y'all. Guess the score. Okay. LSU needs a win. It'd be bad for perception of the program to get blasted by Tennessee and then go out and just look anemic against Florida as well. I think there's a number of reasons I like LSU in this game. Most of which LSU doesn't turn the ball over as much. Anthony Richardson's thrown 7 interceptions and only 5 touchdowns. So he's not as productive with his arm for the cost of what it does. I've got Jimmy Burrow backstage here. Here's what I'm going to do. We're going to hear from Tramonte real quick, and then we're going to dive in once he gets all situated there. But remember, y'all, Tramonte's is your 2022 home gating, and tailgating headquarters. Y'all go check them out for all your goods. They have 30 kinds of meat and sausage. They do catering. They do lunch deli. And remember, if you do catering on a big order, you're going to get a free $25 gift card just for mentioning TigerBait. Also, for the whiskey fans, I've got a couple of their personally hand-selected single barrel whiskeys they're featuring right now. See, I always get that light. Woodford Reserve being one of them, and Blue Note back there. And they've got that custom Tramonte's label on it because you can only get it there. So if you're a true whiskey fan, this is what's up. I'm going to try to feature those throughout the season. Let's hear from Tramonte's, and we'll dive right on into it.
Tramonte's has meat. Tramonte's has seafood. Tramonte's has much more. Tailgating and home gating platters. Huge wine and liquor selection, beer and all the spices you need, Chairman Reserve and Wagyu meats, ribeye rolls, shrimp rolls, kebabs, 20 flavors of sausage for the grill, daily lunch specials and game processing. On-site catering also available. Good meat ain't cheap and cheap meat ain't good. Visit Tramontes.com.
And thank you, Tramonte's, for making the show possible. Now, if that doesn't look like a Louisiana setup behind you, I don't know what does.
Go Tigers.
Go Tigers. All right. So I'm just going to kind of the obvious. You and Robin will be in Louisiana this week, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. How excited is the Burrow household to go back to where it all ended?
Yeah, for really us, I guess it's where it all started, actually, because everything that's happening now, whether it's the Joe Burrow Foundation or the Cincinnati Bengals first pick in the draft, it really is a direct result of Coach O and LSU and the people and fans of Baton Rouge and Louisiana. So, we've kind of highlighted this game for a while, and I know Joe as well as Jamar and Lyle Collins. I think Tyler Shelvin should be activated. So, we'll be well represented there in New Orleans.
So Joe Burrow, his foundation, the Hunger Relief Fund, right?
Yep.
Well, no, I'm sorry, the Joe Burrow Foundation,
Yep.
the Hunger Relief Fund is what he did do.
Yep.
That's not only going to benefit Ohio, it's going to benefit Louisiana as well. Just those two states. What was his thought process? I mean, obviously Ohio's his home; it's where he plays.
Yep.
What was his thought process by including Louisiana in that as well?
Well, he knows how important that was to really jumpstart his career, and now that he's in the NFL, it's all because of again LSU taking a chance on Joe, and he wanted to give back to Athens and Southeast Ohio, and then as I said, LSU is huge to our family, so Baton Rouge is included, probably other parts of Louisiana, and then certainly Cincinnati. So it's like 3 home bases, and he knows there's food insecurity problems at all of those places, as well as children's mental health issues, and he's always wanted to give back to those areas. He realized he had a big platform when he 31 seconds of the Heisman speech that's now grown to $1.8 million in the Joe Burrow Hunger Relief Fund. We don't have any really control over that. So that's why we wanted our own foundation. We still support the Joe Burrow Hunger Relief Fund, but this allows us to reach out not just into Athens County and the surrounding counties here, Southeast Ohio, but to reach places like Baton Rouge and Cincinnati.
No doubt, and that's awesome to see Joe get into some philanthropic work like that. Does Joe realize that he's coming back as the bad guy this week? Has that dawned on him?
I think it's pretty well documented. He gets so locked in during the week. To tell you the truth, he probably hasn't even entered his mind, but he's just trying to get better on offense. He had he missed 2 weeks of camp that set him back with a appendix operation, and they're doing a better job than they were last year of taking Jamar away and making us have to be a little less explosive and checking the ball down at times. So I'm sure he's locked into that, but he knows it's a big game for Joe and as I said, Jamar and really our families and the LSU fans too.
It's been kind of a rough start for him after such a high season last year. Now he finds himself 2-3 and some really hard losses. By the way, I think the Steelers game. I don't think you could find more ways to have that game in the bag and just something goes wrong. Is the morale down with Joe? Like what's the mood when you talk to him?
Well, once again, during the week, I don't talk to him a lot, but I do know that team is great character. Up and down the roster and the coaching staff, they believe in what they're doing and they believe in each other. We've lost 3 games on a field goal the last play of the game. Mm-hmm. And as bad as the one game was against Pittsburgh, it's 4th down and there's like 3 seconds on the clock and he hits Jamar, which I'd have bet a lot of money that's who he was going to throw it to and that it was going to be complete. And then we have the extra point block. So that started the season out bad, and then we've had a couple more issues where we just aren't as explosive as last year. Defenses are doing a better job. We have 4 new offensive linemen, and again, Joe missed 2 weeks, so all that adds up, and that's where we are and why we're there, and we hope to right the ship this week. Unfortunately, against your New Orleans Saints down there.
Yeah. Well, is there any extra emotion for Joe this week going back to the Superdome where he won it all last time he was in that building?
I'd say he's not thinking about that now. But when he rolls into a Superdome there for the first time in warm-ups, I'm sure it's going to hit him. I mean, human nature. That was
no doubt.
Such a big night. He's told me all along that they just knew they were going to win even when they got down. And I'm sure he's going to be confident, as he always is, against the Saints. But they got a really good football team, a great defense, and it's going to be a challenge. But we're looking forward to being there. I'm sure Joe's looking forward to being back there to play the Saints. And that was kind of his favorite team.
I was about to ask you that. He said it was his favorite team growing up. How serious was he about like being a Saints fan growing up?
Well, you know, he loves Drew Brees. So, you know, that became kind of the quarterback that he patterned himself after. Before that, he had the Reggie Bush jersey, the New Orleans Saints jersey. So he followed.
So did everybody. I had one too as a kid. Best Christmas present around back then.
Yeah, so he loved the Saints. You know, I was involved in college football, so we didn't follow the Bengals or the Browns too much.
Right.
Or, you know, he was born at Ames, Iowa, so there's some pictures out there of him in Kansas City Chiefs gear because that was the closest place, but he doesn't really remember that. But he still has his Reggie Bush jersey, and one of the few jerseys that he has framed at his house in Cincinnati is the number 9 that Drew gave him, autographed him, and they swapped out on I think it was a practice maybe before the championship. I think he's got 4 jerseys framed over there. One is Drew's, one is the Burreaux, and one is the Bengals. Has number 1 on him. That's the one that the commissioner was supposed to give him, and then he eventually got it, even though there was no draft in Vegas. And then the 4th one is the national championship jersey, and he's got tons of other memorabilia from different games and whether it's high school or college, but those are the 4 he's got framed. So that tells you what those mean to him.
All right, I got some pretty good questions in the chat here. I'm gonna bring those up. This is one I would have never even thought of, but as soon as he said it, I'll read it to you. You don't have to lean forward to try. Asking you about your thoughts on Mickey Joseph, who, of course, coached with Joe at LSU, and now he's the interim coach in Nebraska, and kind of a historic position he's in, being, you know, the first African-American head coach with them. What are your thoughts on all that?
Well, I go back a long way with Mickey because I was at Iowa State, so we had to defend Mickey when he was the quarterback at Nebraska, so I knew about him. When we took the recruiting visit to LSU because of our Nebraska connection, Mickey was with us the whole time. Bill Bush has been documented, was very important in that whole recruiting process. And I've reached out to Mickey since he's become the head coach. You know, former players are all rooting for him to turn things around. If you watch their last 2 games, he's done a great job. He's very blunt and honest in his assessment, not only of where they are as a team, but if the individuals are having an issue, then he addresses that. So we support Mickey. My son Jamie, who played at Nebraska, also lives in Omaha, but we're big fans. We hope, and he is getting an opportunity, and so we hope he continues to win and has a shot you know, at getting that head job. The other thing that's not probably getting as much credit as the job Mickey's doing is Bill Bush was promoted to the defensive coordinator, and he's done a phenomenal job coordinating the defense and you know, getting them to play like they have the last couple of games. It started out bad to Oklahoma, but they righted the ship, and I think they're, you know, 1 or 2 in that division in the Big Ten, and so we're hopeful and supportive of Mickey and Bill and the Cornhuskers.
Which Bill Bush was, I mean, he had ties with you, if I'm not mistaken. That's the reason why Joe ended up at LSU.
My son Dan had played at Nebraska also, and Bill was on that staff. Coach Callahan was the head coach, and so we did have a connection. And he was at Ohio State as an analyst when Joe was there, and really he's the one that went to Coach O and said, "Hey, if we can get this guy, we got a chance to win the national championship." And
he was right.
You know, he was right. You know, Joe just needed an opportunity, and Coach O provided that. And I mean, just look around the NFL and you know how many great players we had on that football team, which I think is the best college football team that's ever been. I know people will argue with that. I know I'm biased, but hey.
Well, hey, look, you have another bias in this one with that 95 Nebraska team, though.
Yeah, people will argue that too, but and I love those guys on that team, but top to bottom, I don't think there's anything that compare to the LSU that year, and one of the reasons is who they played and how many top 5 teams, how many top 10 teams they played. I mean, you don't see many teams in the semifinals of the playoffs. You know, the game's over by halftime. So look at the NFL. There's some of the superstars, the top players in the league are from that 2019 team.
Yeah, and no doubt. And I think I looked at it that game versus Bama, because we had the Tua Burrow matchup, which God, I hate that for Tua, but
yeah,
it's just unbelievable the amount of NFL talent that was just on the field at one time for that game, and that LSU squad was, man. I also look at, you know, what position your best players played for that LSU team. They played very important positions.
Yes.
You know, so I think you look back at a lot of other teams like 01 Miami, and yeah, they had a ton of talent. Vince Wilfork was incredible, but like, you know, he was a defensive tackle versus, you know, Joey B, you know, 65 touchdowns. You know?
Yeah, I mean, it's once again, if it's not the best team overall that's ever been, it's for sure the best offense that's ever been. And again, check out the superstars in the NFL, Jefferson and Jamar and Joe and Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Terrace Marshall. I think he's been hurt, but he, you know, he's a big time player in the NFL, and so
no doubt.
You know, I rest my case.
Rest your case, right? So Joe's not a very vocal public guy. I mean, he's started to pick up some things like a podcast with Cowherd a little bit here and there, but he's not the kind of guy who's like posting and talking his mind on social media, tweeting stuff out about stuff. A lot of LSU former players do tweet out about stuff, especially like if LSU has a win or something like that. You don't really get too much of that from Joe. Do y'all ever talk about, you know, what's going on with LSU moving forward? I mean, obviously you still have all the gear. Have y'all paid attention to the program moving forward?
Well, you know, he was there in the spring, so he got a chance to meet Coach Kelly. I was down there with at the Garth Brooks concert, which was amazing, and I had a chance to meet with Coach Kelly, and so hey, we're both, our whole family, very disappointed that it didn't work out with Coach O, but we're always going to support LSU and Coach Kelly. We have a connection with Jamar Kane, the defensive coordinator, was my first GA here at Ohio University. Used to babysit Joe. Matt House, I've had a long-standing relationship with him just as a fellow assistant coach. We've had a lot of conversations about football. So, and then Joe and I watch the games as much as we can, and we do talk about them, and you know, we cheer for them. We want them to do well, and I think even though the game Saturday wasn't what we all hoped for, it's going to get back to what we think it should be here in the near future, and it doesn't matter where you are and what the past says. When you change, when a new head coach comes in, it's a process to install. You know, your offense, your defense, your culture, your beliefs, and but I think they're on the right track, and it's going to get done.
Well, you and Brian Kelly both spent a bunch of time in the Midwest. Did you ever cross paths with him, or do you know any?
Yeah.
You know, do you have any history there?
Yeah, we lost for sure the first MAC championship game. We lost to Coach Kelly at Central Michigan. I think we may have lost another one to him at Central Michigan. So, yeah, we've known, I've known of him, you know, for a long time. And then when he was at Cincinnati, even though I was at Ohio University, it's close by. So you're able to see what he did there. And then, you know, Notre Dame certainly, and the reputation and what he's done. that's it's the proof is in the pudding, and he's had a great career, and it'll take some time, but it'll happen there at LSU.
All right, I'm asking you to go back in your memory a little bit on this, but how tough was he to coach against? I'm assuming you were the defensive coordinator back then against him.
Well, they were always very innovative on offense. They spread you out, but they could always run the ball. I can't remember one of the games we played in for Central Michigan. Antonio Brown was the star wide receiver. I can't remember if that was with Coach Kelly or not, but the teams we played in the MAC that he coached were just always very organized, played hard, didn't make a lot of mistakes, and played great defense. So I'm sure that's what he's looking for at LSU in the near future.
All right, so you got any plans for what you're going to do when you're in the boot, when you're coming, all that good stuff?
Well, speaking of in the boot, I'm actually in a boot because I had a foot operation. I'm on a knee scooter with a boot, and so I'm limited in my my mobility. So that's going to put a little stress on my travels up and down Bourbon Street, but we'll see how that goes. But we have tons of friends that are going to be there.
Yeah.
I grew up in Mississippi, so there's family still within 2 or 3, 4 or 5 hours, and so we're just going to have a ton of people there. I'm not sure how I'm going to get around to see them all, but we're going to make it happen. And we had Coach Ensminger and Panamsky in our suite at the Dolphin game, and that was awesome seeing those guys, and hope to see as many LSU friends as possible down there.
Yeah, I feel for you on that boot. I finished my senior year in college in a boot and on a scooter like that too. Yeah, it's no fun.
It's crazy. I got unfortunately a week from tomorrow. I can start putting some weight on it, but that's not going to help me this coming weekend. I'm not sure I'd want to stroll up and down Bourbon Street at a snail's pace on a boot walking anyway. So. We're going to work it out. I got a lot of people down there that they're going to be there to help me out, and we're going to have fun.
I imagine anybody around in this state will be willing to help you out after what Joe did for the state.
I may need it up and down there Bourbon Street, but we're gonna have fun. We get there Friday and going to be there the whole weekend, and we have some plans and some things we're just going to wing it, but. You can bet we're going to be there in our number 9 Bengal jerseys. We might roll out the number 9 LSU jerseys on Saturday, but Sunday, we'll have our Burrow number 9 Bengal jerseys on. There's going to be a lot of 9 LSU and 9 Bengal jerseys there. That's going to be fun to see.
I am jealous. I had tickets lined up to go to this game. I was going to go, and I had a Joe Burrow LSU jersey I was going to wear. I didn't really get to root for him in college. In the media, we don't, you're not really supposed to root or anything like that. But no, I don't cover the NFL. There's no rules for me. I could do that.
Well,
but I have my first kid due next week. So
I see. Well, you can't miss that. But it's a big day, not only for Joe and our family, but I think it's a big day for the people of Louisiana, because Joe, Jamar, that football team 2019 means so much, not just to Baton Rouge, but the whole state. So they'll be there supporting the Bengals somewhat, but I'm sure that maybe they want Joe and Jamar to combine for like 200 or 300 yards passing and the Saints win, but we'd like to see the 200, 300 yards passing and a Bengal win.
BK Takeover says we need to get you a golf cart. Von Bluesman says he's offering to usher you and your family around all week for free. So
well, again, it's been, people have reached out. I mean, the Bengals come get me in a wheelchair before the gates even open, and I've had suites in all the games, and we'll be in one on Sunday. So I might take you up on that golf cart, but we'll see.
So, all right. So if people want to go support the Joe Burrow Foundation, is joeburrow.org the best place to go to support it?
Yeah. And I just looked today, we're up to about 40,000. I mean, people are giving $9, some are giving $99, some are giving $999.99. So as little as somebody wants to give is great, as much as somebody wants to give. And, we feel great. So go to joeburrow.org. The people that are donating, we feel, they've become a part of Joe's team. It's just it's a team now that they call the Joe Burrow Foundation, and we're going to do a lot of good down in Baton Rouge, Southeast Ohio, Athens, and Cincinnati, and really probably branch out to other areas. But it's going to be fun, and we're going to do a lot. Our mission statement is to provide resources and opportunities for the underserved and underprivileged, and we're going to identify those in those areas and help them financially.
Coach, thank you so much for joining the show again. It's always great to talk to. I like finding excuses to bring you on.
All right, well, go Tigers and go Bengals.
Go Tigers, go Bengals. Who day? That's right. I'm with you.
Right.
All right. Thanks for coming on, Coach. That was father of the GOAT, Joe Burrow, Jimmy Burrow on the show. Always great to talk to him. Man, I hope his foot's all right. Let's talk some LSU now. LSU's going to beat Florida this week, y'all. LSU's going to beat Florida. And I want to hear y'all's score predictions because I think this is going to be a very close game. I mean, very close. Vegas has it -2.5 for Florida. Okay, playing in the swamp is probably worth 3.5. So basically LSU, they're saying, is a 1 point better team. I've seen some in-depth analytics that had LSU favored by 0.2 points over Florida. So essentially these teams are dead even, and even looking preseason, you kind of got that impression that these were going to be kind of very similar situation teams. So I'm going to tell you my prediction and I'm going to tell you why. But first, we're going to talk a little bit of sponsors. We're going to start off with Dead Soxy because they have some new socks, and I'm very excited to talk about their new socks. They have the LSU Tiger Slash socks. Okay, so on their website, deadsoxy.com, they've got the purple and gold options. They're launching a new product line of purple and gold. We know you're going to love them. Okay, team colorways, that's the way to go. You get all the purple and gold socks you've seen, plus these new bad boys I'm putting on the screen right now as we speak. Remember your code TigerBait, though, when you do it. When you do promo code TigerBait, you get 25% off. So let's see if I can take this down, and we're going to look at these new bad boys. So here is their purple and gold collection. You can see all the socks. Here's their new kind. Very cool gold scratch. Now, I'm going to tell you, these are different. They are not dress socks. These are more crew socks that you can wear, for much more miscellaneous activities. Athletic lounger is what they call them. They're not going to be that thin polyester. It's only 20% polyester, combined cotton. Very good. Very cool. I just thought these were a very nice new model. Y'all stay tuned because they're going to be dropping more and more and more. We got the link in the bio of this show. Also, I want to thank Celebrity Theaters for making our show possible. They're located on George O'Neill. Right. It used to be the old Oak Cinema 8, right behind Taco Bell, all that good stuff. Freshly renovated facility. They are hosting the LSU game, so if you can't make it out to Florida, y'all go check out Celebrity Theaters. They also have a location in Broussard and Ruston, but they only do the LSU tailgate in the Baton Rouge location. So y'all make sure to go check it out. It's free. It's free, y'all. They have all sorts of drink and specials like that, such as this one, the $10 Nacho Coke special. Lots of other drink specials they'll be doing. So y'all make sure to get out and check out Celebrity Theaters. All right, back to the game. LSU going to beat Florida 21-17, okay? And I do think LSU goes down early in this game because that's what LSU does. They go down early against Power 5 teams. They get slow starts. We're talking 5 for 5 at this point, or 4 for 4. And I don't know what it is. I put a lot of blame on Denbrock. I put a lot of blame on the lack of offensive continuity. I put a lot of blame on just having a non-existent running game outside of Jaden Daniels. These were issues I pointed out to y'all preseason. Now, I thought the offensive line was going to be better than they were, but I knew that you didn't have the running back depth you wanted. That's why you kind of I hinted at y'all, Jaden Daniels with his running ability kind of makes up Josh Forbes. 27-24-ish. 24-21 LSU. See, y'all right where I am. I just think Matt House's defense is going to step up. I really think that defense is going to step up in a big way. Let's see here. Florida will run back one back for a score. Jaden Daniels will fumble in the red zone. I see it. Florida 31. LSU 10. Man, people are down on LSU. All right. Anthony Richardson has completed 55% of his passes this year, guys. You can harp on Jaden Daniels all you want. Jaden Daniels completing 70% of his passes still. Now, you can criticize. Is he holding on to the ball too long? Yes. Is he being a little hesitant at times? Yes. Has he thrown 7 interceptions? No. Absolutely not. Anthony Richardson has been a liability. Florida has 10 turnovers this year. Now, LSU has fumbled the ball 6 times this year. But I look at fumbles as eventually something's going to, like, those are easy to get addressed. If you got a quarterback who's got an interception problem, that's not something you can remember Jarrett Lee and all the, that's not something you just fix overnight. Fumbling the ball, you strap some duct tape to that running back's hand or pick another running back to go out there. You're going to fix the fumbling problem. I don't think LSU's going to go out there and fumble. I think that's something that can be addressed. Turnovers are a major problem. So games on the line, LSU's down. Who do you want the ball in the hands of? Anthony Richardson or Jaden Daniels? Jaden Daniels has shown you on multiple occasions when it's do or die and he's got to run down there and score, he'll do it. He'll begin to move ball. He'll move the ball down. So I think it's going to come down to a late game drive. LSU will be down 17-14, and that offense just puts together a magical drive, and boom, the cardiac cats return, and it's close. It is, it is frustrating because I don't think Florida is that great, but I think Brian Kelly was in a rough pinch, and to have the team as good as they are is a good thing. Stephen Miller asked Preston, do you think that if we threw the ball downfield better, more consistent, the running game would open up? Yes, Stephen, absolutely I do. That's what I keep on throw the ball downfield. Get vertical. I do think that. I do. But I also think the offensive line needs to block in order to get a vertical passing attack. And I think that they're a little gun shy with that. Now, there's some things you can do, but there's only a handful of routes you can call when you don't have 2 seconds to pass. And unfortunately, every time you get some good news, you get some bad news. Will Campbell is back home. We'll see. I mean, we're monitoring that situation. You really want Will Campbell back this week. Dellinger's going to be out for a couple weeks. Those are 2 killers, y'all. Those are 2 killers. I do think a vertical passing attack would open it up. But the thing is that you got to do that, and you can't sacrifice the other good things you're doing right now. I do I think that, if you put a statue back there at quarterback that, that would fix a lot of your problems? I don't know. You got to do a lot of the things that they're doing well right now. A lot of people gave me trash on the post-game show this weekend because I was telling people about how this roster's been kind of hodgepodge together with paper clips and duct tape. They did their best. They did an admirable job, and people thought it was a contradiction for me all offseason coming in and telling you Brian Kelly did a great job building this roster. Both can be true, y'all. And if you actually watch the roster and know this team, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Brian Kelly inherited a team that was going to win 3 games. Period. That team was going to win 3 games. They were going to beat UAB. They were going to beat New Mexico. They were going to beat Southern. They wasn't beating anybody else. They were going to get mopped by everybody else. That being said, you were forced to take a lot of transfers and rely on a lot of guys who, okay, this guy's got an injury history. It doesn't matter. Bring him in. Please. We need him. Well, this guy's had some accuracy issues here and there. I don't care. I don't care. we need this guy. You had to kind of duct tape it together and do what you can with this roster. Both can be true. Someone pointed out to me that on the composite talent rankings, LSU ranks 8th, which I'm a believer of recruiting rankings and things of that sort. I went and checked it out. LSU does rank 8th. But you know what I noticed? Alabama, 85 players. 14 4-star, 14 5-stars, 59. That's number 1, obviously. You know what I mean? Let's go to number 7, Oregon, 85 commits. 5 4-stars, 47. LSU, number 8. By the way, everybody above LSU has 83 or more. 71. That's 14 less than most of the teams above LSU. 14 less total players. 5 5-stars, 33 4-stars. Who's below them? Oklahoma, 82. Notre Dame, 81. USC, 83. Florida, 85. Miami, 83. Michigan, 85. You got to go down to Penn State before you see somebody even in the 70s. So you need more players who were, I'm sorry, y'all. Got my, all right. You need more players than 71. Okay. I'm sorry, y'all. These recruiting talent rankings, they're a freaking farce. LSU's are, at least. That's a farce because there ain't no way with 5 5-stars and 33 4-stars that you have a better roster than than Oklahoma with 3 5-stars and 49 4-stars. They got 16 more 4-star players on their roster. 16. You think? Oh, come on. Y'all. Texas has 52 4-star players, and they're right above LSU at number 6. LSU. Come on, guys. Let's be real here. Let's be real. You need numbers, okay? You've got 4 quality backs, right? But you get a couple injuries every here and there. This guy's out. That guy's not performing. You need that depth. Depth is what makes great teams. It is both true at the same time that Brian Kelly did an admirable job, a great job building this roster, and this roster still has a lot of flaws, and you should temper your expectations. I've been telling y'all 8-4. 8-4 all off season, 8-4. I mean, temper your expectations. All right, let's get to some comments. I'm going to give the show back to y'all. We're going to hear from Tramonte's real quick, and then I'm opening the mic to the people. Brand. Tramonte's play.
Tramonte's has meat. Tramonte's has seafood. Tramonte's has much more. Tailgating and homegating platters. Huge wine and liquor selection. Beer and all the spices you need. Chairman Reserve and Wagyu meats. Ribeye rolls, shrimp rolls, kebabs. 20 flavors of sausage for the grill. Daily lunch specials and game processing. On-site catering also available. Good meat ain't cheap and cheap meat ain't good. Visit Tramontes.com.
Thank you, Tramonte's, for making our show possible. Remember, y'all, if y'all go there, please tell them TigerBait sent you in. That's how they know that this show, their advertising dollars are working and it's supporting them. I have zero faith at this point that Daniels can lead this team down the field, on the road, in the swamp. I'm not saying on every drive, Steven. I'm just thinking on 3 drives, okay? I just think Matt House and that defense are going to do work against Anthony Richard and that anemic passing attack. Now, here's where the problem is with Florida. They've got 3 rushers averaging more than 6 yards per carry and more than 250 yards rushing. One of them is Anthony Richardson, but that rushing game is better than LSU's. There's no doubt about that. But I think Matt House is going to be able to handle that. The other thing about it is just because Jaden Daniels isn't perfect doesn't mean the backup quarterback fixes all your problems, and he's not your biggest problem. Like, how are you going to throw the ball downfield without an O-line? There's ways to do it, Zenas. There's ways to do it, but it's not, you can't, run a 4 verts. You were talking about one quick seam and a quick read, and then you're checking down to the running back type stuff. Like, you're not running 4 progression reads. Accurate. Thank you. Let's see here. Look at Texas A&M. They're loaded and still losing. Hey, A&M's number 4 on the talent rankings, y'all. I just think the talent rankings are an actual farce for LSU. Like I think that for the most part, those can be accurate. I'm a big, you're never going to hear me say stars don't matter. Stars are something. Stars matter. Stars are something. They're just not everything. Okay. They're going to be right about 50-50. There's a correlation. Typically a 5-star player is going to be better than a 3-star player. That's typically what you can infer from that, but there's definitely some flaws. So when you take the overall look at it, usually it's going to be right. I'm just telling you, in this particular case, LSU at 8, just the numbers of it alone with 71 players who were, recruits in their system. And then you're going down, guys, I'm literally scrolling down. Okay. You have to go into 41 to see the next team with 71 players. 41! Arizona State. You think something's a little awry? Can't trust that. Let's see. Over the moon if we finish 8-4. I just don't see it. Just settle down. This team does some good things. Tennessee's a good football team. By the way, I'm taking Rocky Top at Neyland next week, y'all. I think whether Bryce Young returns or he's on the bench. First off, if he's on the bench, Tennessee's going to steamroll him. I mean, absolutely steamroll him. But even with him in there, you've seen some kinks in the armor, but he's going to be a little banged up. So based on the information I have, give me Rocky Top, baby. I'm going Tennessee, pulling the upset. Yeah, I mean, look, here's the deal, guys. 7-5, 8-4. That's one game. I mean, that's not, whatever. It's the same team. Let's see here. Yeah, it would have helped to bring in Etienne. It would have helped. I mean, it's difficult for a coach to come in and recruit high school players when they're brand new like that. I mean, I'm not saying guys can't do it, but yeah, it would have been nice to bring them in. The thing is about Etienne, and I've talked to a lot of recruits. John Emery was like this. When they have a family member from Louisiana who had to go elsewhere, they tend to get a little spurned. They tend to be a little pissy that, well, my older brother was good enough and you guys passed up on him. LSU was really late on Travis Etienne. Really late on Travis Etienne. He tore his ACL as a junior, which is like your offer year, and then he balled out as a senior, and Clemson's like mine. So I think that kind of just bitterness lingered, and a lot of times that's why John Emery was committed to Georgia, because his dad went and played for Tennessee, but they worked on him and had to overcome that bitterness. It's just that's a factor in play. So I don't think Brian Kelly had the time to really react or do anything with that. At P Guy, I agree with you about the team this year. Most people are just impatient. In the next couple of years, he's able to build culture. We'll be back to battling for a championship consistently. That's where I'm at, Thrill. Look, you're fine as a program. LSU's not a programmatic issue. LSU just has a roster issue. And you got to get guys in place. You got to let some of these guys grow. Like, think about in 3 years. Think about, just close your eyes real quick and imagine with me. Walker Howard steps back. Will Campbell seals off the left side. Emory Jones on the right side. Touchdown. Just think about all these young guys getting to step up. Walker Howard hands it off to Caleb Jackson, and the hole is 5 feet wide. It's going to take some time. Trey Holly, LHSA all-time leading rusher, competing for snaps. Shelton Sampson's wide open. Now close your eyes and think about Harold Perkins in 3 years, y'all. Mason Smith is back with a vengeance. Just calm down, y'all. Calm down. They're gonna get there. This is not. Yes, there might have been. Brian Kelly isn't a perfect, flawless coach, and there's some flaws, some kinks in the armor showed this weekend in the coaching for sure. But Tennessee was a much better roster team, just all around football team, man. Stars do matter. Right on, Preston. I mean, they do matter. I mean, the data has proven it for years. People like to point, out. They love to point out things like there's more 3 stars drafted in the first round than 5 stars. Well, no duh, Sherlock. There's 3 stars out there. There's 35 stars. It'd be a statistical anomaly for that not to happen. Like, come on. Let's see here. Any other comments? Swing game will be Arky. LSU wins that game on the road, but must win Saturday. RCS losing 5 straight. All right, let me see. I've done this breakdown a few times. Florida's tough. Ole Miss, we'll see, man. Ole Miss looks more like a loss now. They're really finding an identity. Let's see, Ole Miss, then Bama, which I don't see any way LSU beats Bama. Arkansas, I like LSU's chances against Arkansas. UAB, I like LSU's chances against UAB. And A&M, I definitely like LSU's chances against A&M. So I think LSU wins against Florida. I do. I think they drop Ole Miss, Bama, and then they win out. That's what I'm seeing happening. Let's see here. Yeah, I know Coach O took the blame on that, but it's still, that bitterness still lingers. You know what I mean? Like, a new coach doesn't just make things all hunky-dory. You know what I mean? While we are closing our eyes, Miles Brennan drops back and throws a 50-yard bomb to Besh to beat Bama. Well, look, guys, the other thing is, I don't think any of those 4 quarterbacks were someone who could carry you to a championship. Sometimes I do think to myself, if Miles Brennan would step back there and sling it all over the field, but he ain't. I don't know that the offensive line necessarily would give Miles Brennan the time to do what Miles Brennan does. I just don't. I can definitely take losing, but getting blown out and blatantly out-coached and stubbornness of taking the ball with inept offense is why I'm most upset. Yeah, Steven, you definitely have reasons to be upset, and you should be mad at this coaching staff. Brian Kelly didn't come to LSU to be, have fans who were happy after he lost 40-13. No, he knew darn well if you get blown out 40-13 by anybody, fans are going to be at your throat. You should be at Brian Kelly's throat. He expects you to be mad at him after a 40-13 loss. This is a premier program. Fans invest premier assets into this program. You should be mad at that loss. I'm just telling you, don't run them out of town or anything. I do think they're going to get things going eventually. Chance Babin, can we admit John Emery's 5-star was overrated? Yeah, I think absolutely you can at this point, because he's he just hasn't ever strung it together. Mike Scarborough filmed him in high school, and he fumbled 4 times when Mike Scarborough was out there. So he told me before he even signed with LSU, he was like, yeah, the kid's kind of overrated. So that's why you subscribe to TigerBait for all the best recruiting news. $1 to get started. 100% with you. If we win Saturday, We win the last 2, but I'm on the mindset of the team and coaches riding a 2-game losing streak to the road to Fayetteville and get a win. Yeah. And look, if LSU loses to Florida, then I bump that down to 7-5 because like I said, I don't see them beating Ole Miss and I don't see them beating Bama. Scarborough made him nervous. This guy, man. I've never seen a guy with guns that like go in. You know what I mean? Like I've seen flat, but look at that. They go in. It sinks in. It's a cavity. Instead of a bicep, he is a bicavity. That is intimidating, a bicavity like that. Guys, I appreciate y'all joining your LSU football fix tonight. Y'all, please hit subscribe to the channel. Click that bell. We're live every Tuesday night. I hope y'all appreciate the guests we're bringing in. I'm looking for good quality guests to enjoy y'all. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm coughing up a storm here. Next week could be my last week on the show before I take a 2-week break. I've got a baby coming. So if y'all could come for the last show before before Preston becomes Papa Preston, I would appreciate your support next week. Pretty excited about that, y'all. I have a good substitute for the show lined up. I think you're going to enjoy him. In the meantime, y'all go check out the site. I interviewed Mabry Matar, quarterback out of Houston who visited LSU this weekend. He's a really good kid, man. Really good quarterback. LSU's got some good quarterbacks they're recruiting for the class of 2024. So, yeah, I'll go check that out. TigerBait.com. Of course, it's $1 to get started. Mike will be live with Buddy Sunji tomorrow. So, y'all make sure to go check that out. I'm fighting off a cough so hard right now, y'all. But anyways, appreciate it. See y'all next week. I'll let y'all know if next week's going to be the final show before I return as Papa Preston. Thank y'all for being a part of your LSU football fix.